Happy Friday the 13th, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. And today I decided to celebrate one of my favorite holidays once again. This time by reviewing my favorite Friday the 13th movie out of the whole series. And my favorite Friday movie is by far Part 6, Jason Lives. I feel like this is one of the best made one of the best made Friday films. The best look for Jason, and probably some of the coolest kills. I kind of like to think that that movie had a little bit of an impact on me. Like, like that version of Jason's mask that was made for the film. It's kind of that was the one that was like the most inspiration that I got for this Jason mask that I have right here. And even for like my own character of the Headsman in that short film that I made last year, like that specific character wearing the yellow gloves was an homage to Jason wearing yellow gloves in Friday Part 6. So without further ado, I'm just gonna get into the review. There's really not much that I can say that I haven't already said in the intro. Like I liked how the movie was kind of like written as more like a meta horror comedy, because like let's be honest, there were already 6 movies sent into this franchise. There's really nothing new that they could have done. Like that, I get what they were trying to do in the previous movie, Part 5, A New Beginning, where like they were trying to like have somebody else be the new like Jason Voorhees, kind of like with the Saw films, where they wanted to have like someone become the new John Kramer Jigsaw after Saw 3. Really liked that that basically starting with the 5th film. They always tried to do something new with the franchise. Where like the 5th one, they at least tried to do like murder mystery whodunit on who's like the new Jason. Like, is he back or is it just a copycat? And they kind of carried on that trend with like the 6th movie is when they introduced like Jason Voorhees as a zombie, and it's also the first one that's that really leaned into the horror comedy side of it. Like, the movies were always kind of like campy B-movie, but they never really leaned into like the comedy of it until this 6th film. And I always appreciated that for at least trying it. I thought the guy who was Jason, being like, I can't quite remember his name. I know it ended in Graham. I think that aside from Kane Hodder, he's one of my favorite Jasons, just because of like, how like menacing he walks. Like, he basically walks like an undead creature, like a robot, basically. When this is gonna sound kind of funny, but whenever I'm angry or when I just want to get down to business, like either at work or just in general, just want to get things done, like I have this incredibly fast-paced walk, and I always kind of tried to model it after like Jason Voorhees or Michael Myers, even though he's significantly slower, but mostly Jason Voorhees, just to basically give off the vibe that like I want to get something done, and I want to get it done like in that moment. So there's another thing that I can credit the Friday 13th movies on, specifically Friday Part 6. Tommy Jarvis, I think he's I honestly think he's a likable character who's one of those like movie protagonists who like he's not perfect, he makes mistakes, and he actually faces consequences for it. Because he's the reason why Jason is back. like, he even outright admits in the movie that he screwed up. Like, he decided to dig up Jason's body and just light the corpse on fire just to get rid of his whole PTSD thing, just to give him some sort of closure. But his grief and anger just overtakes him, and he basically just pins this, like, metal spike onto Jason's body, which acts like a lightning rod. And, like, yeah, he's the whole reason why Jason was brought back from the dead in that movie, and he lives with those consequences. And, like, his constant rambling does get him thrown into prison. And, like, in this day and age, where a lot of times it feels like a lot of movie protagonists, like, they make a ton of mistakes, but they're just waved away and they don't face any consequences. Like, it does feel really interesting that, like, Tommy Jarvis in this movie, like, he actually does get crap thrown at him because, yeah, he's the guy who screwed up. He's the reason why there's this maniac killer on the loose going around chopping people up. The acting was okay. It's what you expect from a B movie, like, especially like a horror comedy. I just finished watching this movie, and the only characters that I can still actually remember that were of any significance were, like, Tommy's love interest Megan and her cop father, and I can't even remember their last names either. But, like, Megan actually helps out Tommy quite a bit in the movie. Like, she's the one who actually helps him bust out of jail. She's the one who actually helps him with his plan on defeating Jason, and she's the one who actually gets the final blow on Jason with the boat motor that finally sends him back to his watery grave. Cop father plays the usual like, authority figure in any horror movie, really, where he just doesn't believe the hero and his ramblings until it's too late and he gets killed. The movie didn't feel too frightening, at least not on a surface level, but none of the Friday the 13th movies really scared me. I guess if you have kids at summer camp, like, that thought can be frightening. Because, like, this movie does actually feature, like, children. Like, I know in the fourth movie, Tommy Jarvis was a child, and he was played by Corey Feldman. He was played. Tommy Jarvis was played by Corey Feldman in Friday the 13th Part 4. But really, he was the only child in the movie. But in Part 6, like, you actually have, like, a camp full of children in the movie that Jason actually does appear to try to attack later on in the film. So that was always, like, interesting to see where, like, to see him actually go after kids in this movie. The comedy was great. I was laughing my way through a lot of scenes, especially the whole segment with the paintball fight, where he literally rips off a guy's arm and sends him flying into a tree. And he hits the tree so hard, like it creates a blood spatter on a smiley face. And then when it cuts back to Jason, he's looking at a machete going like, oh, I can use this. So, that just had me laughing my head off. The practical effects were great. The makeup on Jason was awesome. The music was pretty good. Another thing that made me laugh was the whole opening, where, like, it's kind of like a parody of James Bond, where Jason, like, walks into the frame that's shaped like a circle, and then he just slashes at it, where, in comparison to James Bond, where he, like, walks into the frame and then turns around and shoots. That was also a nice little touch that they did. It was nice, though, that the guy who played Tommy Jarvis, I think his name was Tom Matthews, he actually helps out on, like, all these Friday the 13th related projects, like Like there was that one fan film called Never Hike Alone that he had a cameo in. There was a music video that was featuring all these different horror movie killers that he had a cameo in. So it's always nice that whenever actors like come back to the franchises that made them famous, or their franchise adjacent things, and like they're always willing to help out on projects like that. So that's always pretty cool. But I guess to wrap this up, I guess those are all the reasons why Friday the 13th Part 6 is my favorite Friday the 13th movie of all time. It's the one that I always go back to when I'm in the mood to watch a Friday the 13th movie. And like, it's the one that's, again, it's the one that's had the most impact on me in terms of creating like that hockey mask that I did a long time ago, and like, you know, paying homage with the gloves for my headsman character. And it's all around one of the best Friday the 13th movies. So I guess to summarize, like, if you're an average moviegoer, like you'll find something to enjoy out of this, because it is a horror comedy after all. If you're a horror movie fan, like, you'll still like it, because it doesn't take itself too seriously, but there are still a couple like scary moments. And like, if you're a Friday the 13th fan, like, yeah, you'll love it. You will. So let's cap it all off. Happy Friday the 13th, everybody.